You're probably feeling lost and stuck in life and thinking that you're a bad person because you're unconsciously mirroring and masking other people's behaviors, and you've probably been doing that since you were a kid. And this is especially so if you've been conditioned for a long time to think that if you were to be your authentic self, then it wouldn't be safe. And it would make sense that you don't know who you are because you've been told your whole life who you need to be. And since you've been conditioned to figure out who you are or who you should be by seeking confirmation and acceptance externally, then it would make sense that in doing so, you might feel disconnected to yourself, and you might even tell yourself that you dislike yourself. But what if you weren't necessarily lost, and what if you actually didn't dislike yourself? What if you just disliked the influences and the behaviors that you were mirroring? No, but let's break this down even further. If you were raised to seek out your identity or how you should behave from people or things outside of you, and since your sense of self isn't as strong as you'd like it to be, it would then make sense that you are probably somebody who is easily persuaded and influenced. And if you're easily influenced, then it would make sense that the music you listen to, the media you consume, the people you're around, whatever's external to you really, all of that is probably dictating your behaviors, your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with or without you knowing it. All of which would make you feel disconnected with yourself and make you keep asking yourself why you keep self-sabotaging or acting, believing, or thinking in ways that don't feel right to you. But let's do a real quick test to make sure if this is even applicable to your life. Have you ever dated somebody or been friends with somebody who acted in ways that went against your values or who you thought you were? But because they acted that way, you felt like that set a standard within the relationship or the dynamic that made that type of behavior okay. So then you mirrored that exact type of behavior that that person was doing, even though it went against your values or who you thought you were as a person. And then you were reprimanded for that exact same type of behavior, even though they had done it initially. You just thought that that's how the dynamic of the relationship was supposed to go because they were acting that way first. But let's do a different example. Have you ever listened to music and it influenced your behaviors in ways that didn't make sense to you? For example, you listened to a sad song and then you texted your ex. Have you ever watched a show or a movie and then found yourself basing behaviors off of things that happened in that show or acting like a character within that show? And not being influenced by their style, their personality, their art, and then putting your own twist on it, but almost acting out on autopilot because you watch the show, because you listen to this music, because you watch this movie. Now your behavior is mirroring or masking the media that you are consuming. If the answer is yes, that's okay. We all get influenced from time to time in ways that can be beautiful. But if you are somebody who has a weak sense of self, someone who doesn't really understand their own beliefs, thoughts, boundaries, behaviors, actions, emotions, nervous system, diagnosis, you may want to consider starting to take some time to yourself. Not isolating, but making sure to check in with yourself and get to know yourself and understand yourself better. Balance the consumption of other people's opinions, lifestyles, and so forth, so that you can start to build a relationship with yourself. And that way you can start to see where in your life you're mirroring, you're masking, or just living your life on autopilot and basing your decisions, actions, beliefs, or whatever on the media you're consuming or the people that you're around, and not so much what you need or want within